Look, I get it. You're watching housing prices hit record highs. Your grocery bill has doubled in the last 3 years. Your salary barely moved while everything around you has become more unaffordable. You're probably thinking that the American dream is dead for our generation. But what if I told you there's a $15 trillion wealth transfer happening right now that almost nobody knows about? And unlike real estate or the stock market, the government's literally going to help you fund your piece of it with little to no money down. I'm Ben Kelly. I left JP Morgan after seeing my ultra wealthy clients using the exact same strategies to go and double and triple their net worth. Now I own 7 businesses that generate over $850,000 a year in profit. And I work less than 20 hours a week managing all of the ones that I just mentioned. My kids don't wonder where dad is. My wife and I can take our family on vacation for 2 months during the summer. And I never have to look at my bank account before making a decision. Today I'm going to show you how average people, teachers, truck drivers, customer service reps, are quietly acquiring businesses and creating generational wealth while everyone else is going to fight over the scraps. 75 million baby boomers are retiring. These are real people who have been running plumbing companies, accounting firms, laundromats, HVAC businesses for the last 20, 30, sometimes even 40 years. 13 million businesses will change hands in the next decade. Somebody is going to get these businesses. Why not you? The average owner is already past retirement age. Their backs hurt, they're tired of dealing with employees, and they just want to go and retire to Florida and live on a boat. Their kids don't want to buy dad's boring business. They all want to be crypto traders or TikTok stars. These businesses are too small for private equity firms to care about, which creates very little competition for people like us. Most owners have no succession plan whatsoever. They're desperate for someone, anyone, to take over. Think about your local dry cleaner. That boring business probably nets between $200,000 and $350,000 per year. The owner would love to sell it to you, but he probably thinks most people have no interest in it whatsoever because young people would not be interested in the dry cleaning business. Meanwhile, competing with cash offers on houses, getting outbid by investors, and you're watching the stock market swing wildly on a daily basis. You're thinking that there's no way to build wealth anymore, but you're just looking in all the wrong places. Now, the median home price just hit $420,000. You need $84,000 for a down payment to buy the average home. Then you have closing costs, you have reserves, all that to consider. This gets you a mortgage payment that's going to eat up about half your income. And what you get is a place to live. The average car payment now is $750 a month. That's $9,000 a year just to drive to work. Student loan payments are back, and they're crushing people with $400 to $500 per month in payments. Childcare costs more than college tuition in some cities. A decent lifestyle requires more than $150,000 a year in income, but median household income is half that at $75,000 per year. Your 401k won't let you live until you're 70 if you're lucky. But here's what nobody's telling you. You can buy a business doing $1 million in revenue for 10% down. Sometimes less, sometimes nothing at all if you get creative with the structure. Melissa was a school superintendent in New Jersey, making decent money, but killing herself with stress. She bought a commercial pool cleaning company in Myrtle Beach for $995,000. The bank valued it at $1.7 million. She got instant equity. She put down 10%, the SBA funded 90%. And now she makes $300,000 a year, working less than 30 hours a week. The pool company pays for her mortgage, pays for her kids' tuition, and for her retirement savings. It leaves her with more disposable income than her superintendent job ever did. One acquisition, one boring business, that's literally all it took. Now the SBA administration, the Small Business Administration, has a loan called the SBA 7A acquisition loan that allows people like you and I to go and buy a business with up to 90% covered by the bank. The government literally wants you to buy these businesses. They created the program specifically for people like us. They'll loan you up to $5 million for a single acquisition. Interest rates are now between 8 and 10%, way better than most other funding options out there right now. The terms are usually around 10 years, so the payments are manageable. The business's cash flow pays the loan. You're not paying out of pocket. You keep everything above your payment and expenses, and that's profit to you. If you buy a business for $500,000 that makes around $150,000 a year in cash flow, here's the math. You put down $50,000, 10% of $500,000, which you can actually get from an investor, a third party, if you don't have it yourself. The SBA is going to fund $450,000. Your loan payment's going to be around $5,000 a month. Now, if you already have a GM who's managing the business, or let's say you need to hire somebody, you're still going to walk away with around $50,000 a year in profit, maybe as high as $90,000. Adam was a marketing manager making around $75,000 a year. He had a good job, but he wasn't getting rich. He bought a $4 million marketing agency with $0 out of his own pocket. He structured a 20% seller note, and he got it on full standby for 2 years, and the lender counted that as his full equity injection. The SBA funded the rest. Now he makes over $1 million a year in cash flow. Now, Adam hit a home run with that deal. Getting over $1 million in cash flow in your first deal is not typical. You can't do that with real estate. You need at least 20, 25% down for the down payment, and then you're cash flowing a couple $100 a month depending on your market. You can't do that with stocks. You're literally gambling on appreciation. You can only do this with business acquisition, and the window is closing as most people are starting to figure this out. I know what you're thinking, but Ben, I don't know how to run a plumbing business. I've never managed a business before. I'm just a regular person doing a regular job. Good. That's exactly where you should be. Lindsay was a customer success manager at a tech company. She never owned a business before. She bought a carpet cleaning business for $999,000. She kept her day job at the same time while figuring out how to manage the business. She promoted an existing crew member to now be the general manager of the business so she can extract herself out of the daily grind. Now she makes over $150,000 a year while only spending a few hours a week in the business. The business already had systems, so she wasn't creating everything from scratch. And Lindsay is still working a day job where she's making good money and still making over 6 figures from her carpet cleaning business. The employees know what they're doing in the business because they've been doing it for years. And the customers were already loyal. They're not going anywhere. You're buying something proven. You're not gambling on a startup. You don't need to learn how to clean carpets or do accounting or learn how to be a plumber. You need to learn how to read financial statements, manage the manager, and not mess up something that's already working. Another student, Ben, was in the Army for 10 years as an infantry officer, and his wife Andrea had a small marketing business. They bought an upscale nail salon in St. Louis for $675,000. They don't do nails. They've never done nails. They hired a manager who runs the day-to-day. They moved from North Carolina, and they work on the systems to grow the company now. They've added $50,000 a year to their income in year one. The seller can often stay on for months, if not years, to help transition you in as the new owner. The employees want stability, not a new boss who comes in day one and tries to change everything. You're essentially already buying a system that makes money. Don't mess it up. Now listen, I could talk all day about the money, but money without time is worthless. When I was at JP Morgan, I was making good money, but I was looking at people that were 20 years ahead of me and saw the way that they were living their lives. Generally, they were miserable. They missed their kids growing up and their marriages were not in the best of shape. They had money, but no life, limited memories, and they were just not happy. Now I work about 4 to 5 hours a day. That's it. When my kids come home from school around 3 p.m., I'm done for the day. And it's because I own assets that work for me. I never miss the games or the plays because those are the memories that are invaluable. We take 2-month trips during the summer and my businesses are still running without me. My businesses are gonna run whether I'm there, available in the office or not, because we have managers in place. I have actual freedom, not just money sitting in a 401k account that I can't touch for 30 years. There's no amount of money that makes missing your kid's childhood worth it. I never want to look back and say that that extra million was worth not seeing my kids grow up. But when you own cash flowing businesses with management in place, that doesn't need to happen. You can get both, the money and the time. My 4 kids will have their school paid for. My wife doesn't have to work unless she wants to. We make decisions based on what we want to do, not what we can afford. I need to be real with you about timing. This opportunity exists because of a massive demographic imbalance. Boomers are retiring in droves, and there are not enough buyers for all their businesses. But that's changing fast. And once that changes, this opportunity is not going to be here around forever. Private equity is starting to move downstream. They are beginning to look at smaller deals. More people are discovering this opportunity every single day. I see new gurus popping up weekly. The SBA guidelines are constantly getting adjusted. They actually just changed the rules on seller financing that I made a video on. Competition is going to continue to increase every single month. 5 years ago when I started, nobody was doing this. I go to business brokers and they'd be shocked that someone my age was even trying to go and buy a business. Now I see 25-year-olds competing for those deals. The easy deals are getting harder to find. The obvious deals are getting competed away. But right now, today, if you know where to find the deals, you know how to analyze them, deals can get done right now. You can still buy a business that's going to change you and your family's financial future forever. You can still get in before business acquisition becomes as competitive as residential real estate. Think about it. Would you rather compete with 10 cash offers for a house that just shelters you? Or would you rather buy a business that pays for your house, your cars, your kids' education, and your retirement? In 5 years, people are gonna look back and say, I wish I knew about this opportunity. Just like people who say about real estate that they wish they got in at 2010 or found out about Bitcoin in 2012. The difference in this opportunity that it cash flows from day one. You're not speculating or hoping that you're buying something that's going to make money. You know, the window is open now, but it's not going to stay open for much longer. Look, I know this sounds too good to be true, and I know that you're skeptical. When I first learned about this, seeing my clients do it at JP Morgan, I thought that the average person could never do this. You need to have tons of money to get started. But after acquiring more than 7 businesses myself, and now helping hundreds of students to do the same, I can tell you that this is the most accessible plan for building wealth to the average person in 2025. You do not need to be a genius. You don't need to have rich parents. You don't need an MBA. You just need to understand how to find these businesses, how to value them, how to get them funded, and how to manage them without burning yourself out. If you want to learn exactly how to buy your first cash flowing business, I have something for you. I have a program called Acquisition Ace where we hold your hand through the entire acquisition process. We've helped hundreds of students, teachers, engineers, customer success managers, truck drivers acquire their first business, many times with little to no money down. We show you which exact businesses to target, how to get set up to get SBA funding, how to structure creative deals, and most importantly, how to run these businesses without quitting your day job if you want to keep it or working yourself to death. Want to learn more and hear detailed stories from our students? Check out the link in the description. Thanks for watching.